Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's another beautiful Saturday night, and this is 8 p.m. East Africa time. Good evening. Good evening, wherever you're watching us from. If you're live from South Africa, this is the Alternative Voice, and I'm your host tonight, Cleophas Solwaj. And today we are talking about a beautiful topic with an amazing guest, one with a wealth of experience as far as the topic we are discussing tonight is concerned. Joining me, ladies and gentlemen, in this discussion tonight is this amazing lady from South Africa. Hi, Colleen.
Hello, Cleophas. Thanks so much for having me as your guest.
Welcome, welcome. This is the Alternative Voice, and you are if you can say, the fifth international guest we are having on our platform. And we are live both on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where we are. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this live broadcast, and we'll be talking more on this topic of the day, and that's role of a parent in career choice. Feel free to join us live on the comment section. Share with us what you think about this amazing topic. Are you a parent? Are you the person being guided in this career choice? So welcome live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can join us and leave your comment down there. So far we have Omolo Caroline, Jess Qvist, who is also joining us live in this discussion on YouTube. Thank you very much, ladies, so far, and gentlemen who are joining us. We go straight into the discussion for tonight, and we have Colleen. So Colleen, our viewers might be wondering, who is Colleen? This lady I've introduced to be one amazing lady with wealth of experience. So kindly brief the audience who Colleen is.
Okay. Thanks so much for that. Okay, so who am I? Well, thanks very much for the compliment in that I'm an amazing lady. Yes, I am going to be an amazing lady. Who I am, I'm a life coach and a business coach, and I facilitate and I speak. I come from a background of healthcare. I worked in medical for 22 years in sales. And before that, I did a genetics degree. So my path was always going to be a doctor, but I didn't get into medical school. And so the path changed. Yeah, I wanted to be a doctor, but medical school had other plans, and so did my life have other plans. And when I look back on it, I see that it all worked out.
Wow.
So that in a nutshell is me. Yes.
Amazing. Some might say you wanted to become a doctor, and in between you found yourself becoming a patient. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us, this is the Alternative Voice, and today we are talking about role of a parent in career choice. And this is a perfect example that we're getting from our guest tonight, that she wanted really to go into the medical field, and some things happened. What makes you move from one career choice to another? Is there influence from the parent? Who is influencing your career choice? Join us in the comment section and feel free to join this conversation tonight. We'll be live for 45 minutes, and I hope we'll be able to learn more from Colleen. So Colleen, you are a life coach. You are a master credentialed coach, and from your bio, I've just seen you are the vice president, coaches and mentors of South Africa. So tell us briefly about this role that you have and how you help play the role of being a coach and a mentor.
Okay. So Comensa is the professional body for coaches and mentors in South Africa. And obviously we reach into Africa. And what happens is that anybody can decide to become a coach. So the industry is not regulated anywhere in the world. And so we have a professional code of conduct and ethics to be able to guide people of, that you don't just wake up one day and say, guess what, I'm a coach. Okay. So you hopefully wouldn't wake up and say, hey, I'm a doctor. But you can do as much damage as a life coach or as a business coach as you can as a doctor. So it is very important that we uphold the standards. And it's also about allowing people in the door so that they can learn from fellow colleagues about, oh, so that's how you do it. Okay. So we're very inclusive. It's about come in, let's work out. Obviously, with lockdown, we've been online since March last year. So a whole year of being online and learning new things. But yes, so I'm the national vice president.
Amazing. She's the national vice president, and as you've known and as you've heard from her, they are currently on lockdown, and they've been in that situation for quite some time. And the same situation other countries in Africa, those who are watching us across the continent and even other parts of the world are joining us and asking themselves, what can you learn during this pandemic when you are on lockdown? Colleen is here to tell us that so many things happened and great things are yet to happen. So we go straight into this discussion tonight, role of a parent in career choice. So straight into it, Colleen, what's your definition of parenting as far as this topic is concerned? Should you be that person who is influencing every aspect of your child's life, or should you give the child a space to grow and also to explore?
So let me start by saying that I am a parent. Jess, who's on the call, is my daughter. She's 23. So I know what it's like to be a parent where you're thinking, oh, you want to be what? No. Okay. But so my idea is that parents need to know how to support. They need to know how to be there, but not decide for. So there's a difference between supporting and influencing. Yes, you're going to do it my way. But I think what happens as parents, we work, I mean, obviously with anyone, we work from what we know. And so obviously the older you are, the more you know things from the olden days, clearly. But it is that as soon as we come across careers that are different or out there or strange, in inverted commas, strange, it's like, no. And so we tend to default to the idea that because it's different, it's wrong. But when you look at how things have changed, I mean, so I came out of medical, okay, out of healthcare. So as in sales, when I didn't have a cell phone, we had funny little pager things that went beep, beep, and you had to go and find a ticky box, which probably your audience doesn't even know what it is. And you had to put little coins in it and phone the office to see what they were looking for. So life has radically changed where you think that most of Africa now has cell phones. We have we had fax machines. Maybe people don't even know what fax machines are. I grew up without a computer. We didn't have a TV. So it's the things that life has changed. We've moved on. And it's almost like we don't accept, well, we accept the fact that we don't go to work on a horse anymore. Well, maybe some people do, but yeah, I don't. But in other things, we're fighting the technology, we're fighting the advance. But what's happened is that it's moved so fast. So besides automation and COVID, we've now got double the impact, of like, it certainly has totally disrupted people, places, it's all over.
So, Colleen, when you talk about the introduction of technology in the role of a parent and also having all these technology at your disposal, and you should really embrace them and use them to your benefit. You have a daughter who is on the call, as we can see, on joining us on YouTube, and she's saying, and she's an amazing mom. I appreciate that she's given me freedom to grow, but she has also guided me. So as a mom and as a parent in this case, and you really want to guide your daughter in the career path, how can you ensure that technology plays a key role in that quest?
So technology is so useful now, because instead of having to trek off to the library like we did in the olden days, you pick up your cell phone, you pick up your laptop, whatever, and you Google things. Often as parents, though, because we don't know something, we feel like we must be experts. And I've never set myself up as an expert mom. Okay. So often I would say to Jess, oh, I don't know how this works. Let's go look. Okay. So it's about being curious together. Let's go and investigate. Let's go find out. Let's go whatever. So it's about making sure that you support each other in it. And I mean, I see even now with CEOs that when we were in lockdown, they didn't know how to do something. And so that you tend to go away from it. So I often see that maybe you've got parents who haven't had many years of education, or, and it's almost like they drop their children off in grade 1 and then they pick them up at the end of grade 12. And it's like, oh, I don't know any of this. And I promise you, I mean, Jess, for instance, has an economics honors degree, and I did not know one sentence of it. Okay. But it's about being supportive and being there and making tea and delivering the coffee, and as opposed to understanding the work. Yeah. So
Colleen,
yes, sorry.
If you talk of technology, and we come to the reality that some parents are, of course, paranoid. Giving an example from our country, this is Kenya, and we have parents who can't easily let their sons and daughters handle phones when still in school. And remember, we are told that they should embrace such kind of technology so that they can be able to align their career according to the research that they do. How can you advise such a parent who is paranoid on the use of technology on these kids? Because I know some of the parents here are watching, and we have one of them on the comment section, and she's tuned from Nairobi, Kenya, and that's Josephine Kieti. So your word to them.
So it is scary. And remember also that in this day, although, I mean, Jess is 23, so I haven't got a very little child now. But our home has always worked in that here are the rules. Here are the consequences for breaking the rules. I personally uphold privacy. I don't believe you should check up on your children and read their diaries. I'm very against that kind of thing and see what happened. But it's all like, oh, let me go through your Facebook, But I mean, Jess had to be 13 before she was allowed on Facebook. She had a cell phone from olden days because I traveled. Okay. So where I would sit in Nigeria, for instance, and she could contact me, or I've been in Atlanta in the States or whatever. So we've always worked with being able to connect. And so, you can actually do a math sum on a napkin or serviette sitting in a bus in Nigeria and then send it back as a photo. So, so we've embraced it, but there've been consequences. And I think a lot of parents go wrong in that they allow stuff, but there's no consequences for stepping over the boundaries. They don't put the boundaries in. And so a lot of parents are either the nightmare of you can't do anything, or what also happens is that you can do anything you like because you're free. But choice has got consequences, and you have to hold your children accountable for consequences.
Wow, choices have consequences. And that brings me to the guide that you as a parent should give to your child. There are those parents who are watching this live show tonight, and the question can be, how can I influence my child's career? Is it from a point of view that you are the person who is in this, and you want your son, your daughter to be who you want and not what he or she wants? Should these kids have the choice, freedom of choice, that is?
So that happens more often than you would imagine, because obviously as a coach, I see the people who are unhappy. I see the people who've gone and qualified as the engineer, or gone and become the hairdresser, or gone and become all those things that they didn't want to become. But often parents work from the idea of you must become what I am. So if I'm a lawyer, you must be a lawyer. Or it's in the family, our family are all doctors. You should be a doctor too, okay? Or what happens is that sometimes the parent didn't have an opportunity to become what they wanted to be. So maybe the parent really wanted to be a chef. And then it's almost like instead of influencing, let's use push. They literally push their children into, you must go and be a chef. Okay. It's also about, but what will society think? So in my day, it was very much, I sound like one of those weird little people in my day. It was very much that you had to be a doctor, a nurse, an accountant, or a teacher. Those were the professions that were thought of highly in society. And then as soon as you said, no, but I want to be something else or other than that, it would be, oh, my hat, what will my neighbors think of? Oh, no, 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 no child of mine is going to be a whatever, okay? So, I mean, fill in your own little pieces here.
So there are those societies that really believe on their career progression in their respective cultures. And for instance, if you can say, those who are watching and they are from the lakeside part of this country might say that they want those big careers to mean if you are a teacher from that area, you'll be seen as a nobody. But if you are an engineer and they call you Engineer Otieno, they call you Engineer Oyugi, and you feel the way in the name Engineer Doctor. So how can you advise? There is a parent, and I have a case before we came live to this show tonight. I got a request from a friend who is taking engineering in one of the universities in Kenya. And the main concern is he is doing what the parent wanted him to do. And the guy is so much into events and planning, organizing events and functions in the university and even outside university. This person is into events, and that's where he wants to go into and make a living. What advice can you give to the viewers who are here? Is it a waste of money and time for you to follow what the parent wants?
Okay, so some people do follow what the parent wants, and sometimes what the parent wants is what you want. But other times it isn't what you want. So a lot of children don't know what they want. Okay, and so when the parent chooses and it's not something that the child does want, and they end up, and then you've done, a lot of people have, oh, you've got to go to university. You've got to go to university. You can't go and become a plumber or an electrician. What will the neighbors think? You know? And so it's when the child's channeled into where, okay, then often it could be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Or they have the regrets forever. You know, they get to 50 or 60 and think, you know, I really should have been something else. So it's almost like we missing, besides the money, in a way, yes, it's a waste of money, but it's also missing out on purpose and calling, and the person having high vibration and yayness every day. I'm going to work, you know. I mean, we all know what it's like to work, and it doesn't feel like work, because you're in flow, compared to when you drag yourself to something every single day or going like, ugh, back there. Yeah. But
wow.
a lot of...
Yes, proceed.
Yeah. So a lot of, you see, we have to learn how to dance together so that I don't interrupt you and you don't interrupt me. Yeah. A lot of people have that they're in it, and then they feel that they can't get out of it. So, I mean, one of Jess's friends, she went into 2 different degrees, and she's, yes, privileged to be able to say that it wasn't the right place for her. And so after the first year in each place, she said, yo, I'm out of there. And off she went to the next one. And now she's in hotel management, whatever, and is absolutely loving it. She's flying. Her marks are amazing. She floats from one day to the other. I mean, obviously lockdown has hurt that industry tremendously. But at least she's found her true calling, her passion. Yeah. What I would say to people, though, that when you hate your job, work with a coach, though, because you have to make sure that if you're going to change job, you take yourself with. And 5 seconds after you've got to the new job, you may hate that one too, because there's something else that you haven't addressed. Yeah. But if you're wanting a new career or a different, or you're wanting to go back to, I always should have been a whatever, it's an idea to work with a coach and actually say, okay, what are the possibilities? What's out there? Or how could I do it? Could you do it part-time? Can you go and do those things? Yeah. And then we must speak about skills.
Wow. All that thought as we take the first break to check on the comments section.
Okay, there's so many comments.
Yes, we have so many. Jess is here, Omolo Caroline, Josephine Kieti, Millicent Ochieng, Lavenda Kinyi, tuned, Paul Kinotia, tuned from Soy, Daniel Jaka, tuned, that's our production guy who is tuned in from India, and we have JL Empire, wow, Jambo from Nairobi, Colleen. If you say Jambo, you jibu Jambo. Jambo is like hello.
Okay, hello, Jumbo.
Yes, welcome, JL Empire, and the other name is Tough and Unique. So, Colleen, these are the people I was telling you before we came live. These are the individuals who said the second name is difficult to pronounce, and here we are, and we can easily pronounce it now. She's Colleen
Qvist. Okay,
Qvist.
I've seen some questions about my surname. Okay, I'm South African. I'm African, but my surname is Danish. It comes from Denmark.
Aha.
Yes, but there's pure African in me. Yeah. So I married the surname. Okay, it's not my maiden name. I married the surname. I've been married for 27 years. So it is really about, and so I've spent all my life going QV, well, like for 27 years, feels like all my life, as opposed to QU, because Danish doesn't have the English Q, after Q, you get a U.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Great learning from you.
Hello, Catherine. I see Catherine's on the call. Yes.
Yes, we have Francis Maina, who is also tuned, and we have Two Wheelers Diaries. Here we are, and Jess is here. She's an amazing mom, and we went through that comment from Jess. We have Cosmos tuned, David Kiprotich Rono is tuned, and we have Jess again. Technology teaches us that life changes very quickly, and so there could be jobs in the future that don't exist currently. So your child may have a job that does not exist currently. So there is hope, and thanks, Jess, for joining this live call. And we have a question from JL Empire. Actually, Colleen, during this live show, we are going to tackle the questions as we proceed. We have JL Empire and is asking, how can I empower my child to achieve his complete potential? And the question is not complete. And if you can start with that, then we proceed to the next.
So a big thing about your child's potential, it's being honest with yourself to make sure that it's your child's potential and not yours, that you're living through them. But with that, it's also about having an open relationship with your child. So, you're not going to be able to talk about everything if you arrive and you say, oh, mom or dad, and you go, oh, and you shut them down. So there can't be judgment as a parent. It has to be open to, oh, I want to be. So, Jess has had some very strange ideas before she went and studied economics, and is now a life coach as well. She had some different ideas about going to pack ice, and do fishing, and and is also at one stage was going to design jewelry. I thought, like, right, okay, but it's so important then that what do I know about jewelry? I don't wear jewelry, okay? So it's about, we went in to go and find out about jewelry. We immersed ourselves in jewelry. How does it work? Where does it design? What's the thing? And then along the way, she thought, no, I don't want to do that. Okay. So at one stage, she was being a farmer. Then she was being different things. And the last one before she ended up doing economics was she was going to be a journalist. And I could imagine my child reporting from some faraway flung war-torn something or other.
But it's a good thing, and journalists do enjoy reporting. Did you influence her choice?
Yes. So it is, okay, so let's look at it. How does it work? Whatever, I come from a science background. Jess is not a science person at all. So we went and saw, when she was still at school, we went and saw somebody from a career point of view. And at that stage, you were allowed to give up science. Okay. And she said, chip. and gave up science in 2 nanoseconds and kept history. She did a history and account. So very, very different to me. Yeah. But it's about her path and her journey. And yes, sometimes I had sleepless nights thinking, oh, what happens if this is wrong? What happens if I haven't not influenced? What happens if I haven't guided enough? Okay. But when you guide and you support and you hold and you love, it's not to say, well, you do it my way. That's not what we need to do.
Wow.
What we're also saying as well is about careers that aren't there anymore. Children today are going to do careers and jobs that don't exist yet. So let that sink in. And it's almost like, how do we prepare children now for, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up, when the job doesn't exist yet? So it's not like, oh, well, one day when I grow up, I'm going to be a fireman, or I'm going to be the jobs don't exist. And so many jobs now are disappearing. They're going. And that's where technology changes. So you look at Kodak, for instance, and Kodak said that we will always take photos and we will always print them. When last did any of you print a photo? Okay. They're all kept in digital online somewhere or others, okay, on Facebook or on wherever. So that's where, and also like an x-ray, you don't print x-rays anymore. X-rays are digital. So it's about looking forward. So as a parent, I would encourage you to look forward to see what is out there. And yes, it's scary. We don't know. But rather, it's okay not to know. But go with your child, because they are more geared to cope with now than we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colleen, for the first question that has been tackled very well, and the examples that you've given us. I wonder how Jess ended up in economics, yet she had the ambition of becoming a great farmer. She had the thought of becoming a good journalist. We could have been watching her from South Africa Broadcasting Company,
yes.
I think. Yeah, SBC. But
Jess's version, Jess has always liked different and variety. And when she was saying, okay, could she be this? Could she be? So Jess was always brilliant at accounting and liked accounting and is good at numbers. Okay. And she was advised by the career person, go and be a CA, make a lot of money. And for the rest of you, write in your spare time. And she walked out that and said, hell no, we won't be doing that one. Okay. And her dad is an accountant, for instance. Go and be what your dad is what the advice she was given by the career person. Okay. And she went and found her own path. So instead of just signing up for a business degree, she did politics, philosophy, and economics as an undergrad because it had so much variety. It also combined science with social things, whatever you want to call it, the social subjects, where she said, science people often criticize the art subjects as being like, not sciencey enough. Well, they're not science, they are. And so she learned so much from the philosophy and the politics and going into Black consciousness and all those kind of whatevers, that it makes her the coach that she is now. Although she did honors in economics and her in developmental economics, and then looked at the role of the parent in grade 9 mathematics marks in South Africa. Yeah.
Wow. It would be great to have another session with Jess, just to dissect, who she is and how she ended up doing all these things. She must be an inspiration to some of the young people who are looking up to being someone great in future in any field that you have. And guys, if you're watching this live on Facebook, YouTube, or you're on Twitter, be encouraged. Go out there, look for a career person, talk to them, share what you really want to do. The same way Jess did, a case study that we're using tonight, just to learn something. And we have Daniel Jaka, good topic, just to ask, can a parent model the behavior that he or she wants the child to exhibit? Colleen.
Remember, modeling is always a very good way. So instead of saying, do as I say, it's basically saying it's encouraging the person to follow your example. But remember, modeling the behavior can also be the bad way. So in that, for instance, if you hate your job, then are you expecting your child to do the same thing? So modeling the behavior can be used positively, but it can also be used negatively to influence your child to, there's no option, there's no choice, there's no whatever, do what mom or dad say. Yeah.
We have Jess again. Thank you very much for the question. And that's really happened. My mom was on a business trip, and she sent me a text message of my mom.
That's when I was sitting in Lagos. Yeah. So I've always been a career person, and I've said to Jess that I had a career. So I'm not only a mommy, I'm not only a wife, I have a career too. Okay. And that's where I've included her in my career. When I did my MBA, she sat at our dining room table and she met everybody there and was very disappointed when people didn't finish their MBA. So we've learned that you finish what you start, okay? And that children aren't too little to understand. They aren't too little to be involved. And it's also about, like, what did mom do today? No, well, mom was a mom. No, mom she did other things too. And so it's about include your children in your career. Yeah.
Wow.
I wanted to chat about skills.
Yes, please. Proceed.
Okay. So before, we've always had a career title, a job title, an accountant, a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer, and now we're moving away from the title, because now we're having to prepare children for titles that don't exist yet. So, one day you're going to be a something. Okay. So now we've realized that we've got to have children with specific skills, or people with skills. So it's now about a skill set that you have and how you can go from one thing to the other. So just because you started off as an accountant, remember before, accountants were known as not people, they don't talk to people, they like their little computers, they do numbers, and they're not extroverts. Yeah. And now accountants have got to have people skills, okay, because the computer can do all the number stuff. Now we have to advise and do, okay. So what happens is, like, it's about seeing what skills are short, what are we needing? And so when you look at the World Economic Forum, they have got a jobs report, and there they're saying that by 2025, 50% of the workforce is going to have to be reskilled, because we don't have the skills that we need that we have now are not the skills we're going to need in 2025. And so those skills are very much like problem solving, self-management, people skills, and of course the technology. So yeah, I've been very much like, oh, don't know how to use that, and then think, no, flip, you got to go into it. It's not, you got to go find it out. So, do Facebook Lives. Oh, what happens? Go and do Zoom. Go and do. So I'm an older person who's learned tech, but doesn't know. I mean, some of these things I was looking at: cloud computing, big data, encryption, non-humanoid robots. Listen to that one. E-commerce, artificial intelligence. So those are all the things that we hear. We know the words, but like, what is a non-humanoid robot? But imagine a little kid. Imagine a little kid with a robot who can now go and make his whole or her whole job. Yes, please note his and her whole job robots. I mean, how fun is that?
So there's job for everyone, even the kids who are coming up. Of course, they'll have a space for their own. And we have a comment from Janet Machuka. Hi, the Africa tweet chat is fully represented in the house. Welcome, Janet. And Janet is saying, actually, Janet was our previous guest. We had Janet talking about digital marketing previously on the Alternative Voice. And she's here saying, don't push kids to become what you want them to be, just because you didn't become it. Thank you very much, Janet, for that. And that's what exactly we've been talking about. We have Lavenda Kinyi. I was a teacher, but I never wanted to be one. It's a choice my parents made for me. I did my bachelor's in education, the undergrad, graduated, and currently doing something else. Now see, this is a perfect example that we're talking about. What's your word in this case for Lavenda, Colleen?
Okay, so awesome that, yes, graduated, but has gone and done something else. But often children don't feel that they have a choice, and they don't, in a lot of a lot of parent-child relationships, children don't have any power. So when you say, I'm not going to be a teacher, it's not every relationship that's like Jess and mine, where, I'm not going to be or I want to go to this university, I'm not going to that one. So it's about encouraging parents, because they're the ones who need to change, to be more open, to be more whatever. But it's not about being more open without rules. You must still have boundaries and rules and all that kind of thing. Okay, so we also obsess, besides the broken dreams, that, I didn't get to be here, therefore you must be here. Okay, it's also that we have this fixation about a degree. You have to go to university and you have to go and get your master's and your PhD and your this and your that. Meanwhile, your child was going to be the most fantastic hairdresser, the most amazing plumber or electrician, or something that's technical with their hands, or wants to go and design video games, or be an artist, or be work in a hotel. Okay, and it's not, you don't have to have the degree in order to contribute, in order to live your best life, in order to live your purpose and bring meaning into the world.
Thank you very much, Colleen. Indeed, you are the best of your careers, and as being a life coach, and we are really learning from this. And as the upcoming parents, yes, we as the upcoming parents, and Janet Machuka here asking the question of an upcoming parent, and we have other upcoming parents. If you are an upcoming parent, please join this discussion live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Send in your comments, send in your questions, and we still have Janet Machuka. I really love this discussion. My mom never pushed me to be what she thought was good for me. I became what I wanted, and I love the turnout of events. Thank you very much, Janet. And Janet, you're doing amazing job outside there, and keep up the good job at the Africa Tweet Chat, and continue inspiring young people, young marketers outside there, and continue building the brand. We have David Kiprotich, Career Today. From parenting point of view, need to be open. Parents will need to be diversified, informed to guide and like from traditional way, where kids were wired. And that's the exact point that, Colleen, you are talking about. And the viewers are actually getting something out of this discussion, and they are in for it. We have Rebecca Mora. Are you joining us from Eldoret, or are you joining us from Kisii County, or are you in Nairobi? Yes, check in down there and tell us where you're watching us from. I'm really enjoying this discussion tonight. And
hear that, Rebecca.
Yes, and we have David Kiprotich Rono, career influence from parents is getting challenged. Yes. My career, my choice. Meaning, for parents to guide, they need to develop a good relationship with their kids. Yes. That's the point.
It's totally spot on, David. Yeah. And it's also about a good relationship with your kids, but also that you go and do research together, that you go find out how does this work? What happens? What's involved? So by all means, if a child wants to be, I'll use an example as a doctor. If a child wants to be a doctor, all right, you have to have science. So don't allow, it would not be advisable for a child to give up science at high school if they're wanting to be a doctor. But it's also like, there's also different ways. So when you look at the skills, so I look at my niece, for instance. My niece is crazy about animals and wild animals and whatever, but didn't necessarily have the marks to get into vet school, okay? But she's now gone and worked with wild animals in a different way, and now currently works in a crocodile farm of all places, which gives my parents heart failure, all right? But what I've loved about how they've supported her, because my mother keeps on saying, but crocodiles, but crocodiles, okay? But the other day they went and had lunch with her, okay? And like my mom and dad are so proud of her, and you should see her with those baby crocodiles and how she was. And Granny, this one's name is this and this one's that, and they're so proud of her. But it's her choice. They want to see her happy, and that's the difference. My mother still says, but crocodiles, and also there's snakes there too. She's like, but like. Okay, but so I really respect my parents in that they have supported my niece in her choice of what she wants, and go sit there with her crocodiles and say, wow, love this crocodile. What's this crocodile's name again? You know? So that's what it's about. It's about doing the journey with, but not doing the journey for.
Amazing. This is an interesting conversation, and we're having this discussion live on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Twitter. You can join us there on Periscope Live. And we have questions, and we have Josephine Kietu, who is watching us live from Nairobi, and she's saying, should parents interfere in their children's choice of career? If you can give an answer to that.
Okay. So parents do interfere in their children's choice of a career, but they shouldn't. Okay, so there's a difference between allowing the child to experience, like as Janet said earlier, about reaching her entire potential in the direction that she needs. So not just settling for blah and average, okay? To go and say, wow, you could do more than this, you can go further, you can go and conquer the world, you know? So it's about encouraging your child and influencing your child to go and be massive, wow, huge, okay, but not deciding how they should deliver that.
Wow, thank you very much for answering, Josephine. We have Manoti. Colleen always do a good job watching us live from Facebook.
Thank you.
Dennis Juma, what if I take up both my parents' career and my career? Will I be risking my future, or I will be in safe position?
Okay, so it's about combining all of them, maybe all as careers or maybe sometimes as hobbies. But it's about asking, Dennis, it's about asking yourself in your own heart, what do you really want to do? And are you spreading yourself too thin, trying to be nice to everybody? As opposed to saying, you know what, I really want to go into fashion design. I don't want to do this other stuff. Okay. But, you know, maybe it's fashion design and law and something else. And maybe you're the legal side of fashion design, you know. So there are ways of combining things. I mean, I look at myself where I did genetics, and I did genetics honors in order to go and do genetic counseling. And the South African government stopped training and said no. And I realized for me that I couldn't talk to test tubes for the rest of my life. I like people. So I went into sales. So my dad was the sales side. He was the sales director and the sales manager and all that kind of thing. And I learned my first part of my career from him. And then obviously spent 22 years in the medical device industry learning. But Dad, where's Carltonville? They asked me to deliver gas, and I learned maps, boy, believe you me. And Dad, and he'd say, oh, you have to learn how to change a tire, my girl. In the dark, you need to know how to change a tire. So and then he had heart failure about his little girl traveling all over the country, all over. I remember when I first went to New York and he was having heart failure. And what happens if you don't know? And I said, Dad, the signs are in English. I can ask somebody. Okay. And so it is about being concerned about your children, wanting the best for them, but allowing them to be free. Now, and then obviously when I've gone back into the coaching side, I've gone into my mom's side of being where she was always the counselor. She always did things like working for the animal cruelty. She worked for Rape Crisis, all that kind of stuff. And I'd say to her, you know, Mom, why? And she'd say, someone has to do it. Yeah. So it's a combination, but none of it has been not what I want. Yeah.
Interesting. We have Catherine Finney from Facebook. That's me. I'm loving studying hospitality management, and I thank my parent every day for their continuous support after battling 2 years of a wrong career studying choice. Yes. So that's an example that truly career choices exist, and the influence of a parent is always there. And it's upon us to make the choice which route to take. We have Millicent Ochieng. So much insights from our show tonight. Too excited to learn. Thanks, Madam. She's watching us from Nairobi.
Yes.
And Janet Matuka is here, loving Colleen's answers. You're really giving much insight on this. And we have Dimuran, hey, how are you? Welcome to our discussion tonight. Feel free to comment and give us your insights as well on the topic of the day. We have him is watching us live from Nairobi. Two Wheelers Dairies, who is watching us from India, is saying that's inspirational. Lavender Kinyi, I agree with Jess, especially on the artificial intelligence part. And Jess was here and she was saying, I think a child will be more successful if they follow their calling because they will be more passionate and will put more effort in it. And on this one, I would like to say we had a poll on our YouTube channel as well as other platforms. And we were asking guys, are you happy with the current job that you're doing now? The answers were crazy, and we shared the same on our WhatsApp statuses as the team for the alternative voice, and the answers that we are getting is that some are into that job just for salary. It's not something you love doing, but you just want to sustain yourself. So be encouraged tonight that it's possible. It's possible to do that thing which you love and earn a living from it. So thank you very much, Lavender. And just for that, Edu Katel, good evening. Yes.
What's important there, Cleophas, is that we need to look at 4 different things. So what you're good at, what you like. Okay, so sometimes you're good at stuff, but you don't really like it. You know, you don't want to do it every day. What you can be paid for and what the world needs. So the intersection of those 4 things, if you make lists of everything that you're good at, if you make lists of everything that you like, you'll see just those 2 lists in itself, they overlap of, okay, what can I really like children, okay? I really like cooking and I'm great at something like that. Can you combine them to come up with a career?
Wow.
So a lot of people like, oh, I really, somebody would say, oh, I like making sandwiches, okay? But it turns out you don't really like making sandwiches. You like catering for your family and putting the meal together for them. If I said, go make 500 sandwiches for people you don't know, you go like, this is terrible.
He or she's used to serving 5 people in the family, so she thinks she can be a good chef.
And 5 people once, not 500 sandwiches a day for people you don't know, don't care about, don't love, don't whatever. So it's about making sure that just because you're good at it, can you do it every day? Yeah. But remember also now we look at a career ladder where before that was the olden days where you had to wait for the boss to die or move or go somewhere else before you went up the ladder. Now, new people, it's a jungle gym. It's a matrix. You can go there, here, wherever, okay? You don't have to sit in the same department with the same job title. Gather skills and go wherever.
Wow. Combine those skills, go out there to the market and embrace whatever thing they're offering.
And a big thing there also, remember that just because you've got skills today doesn't mean they're still valid tomorrow. You've got to keep on upskilling, changing skills, because you could draw beautiful little maps and diagrams as an architect before. Nothing is hand-drawn anymore. It's all on computer. So somebody here said, sorry, when I don't wear my glasses, I don't read too well or fast. Somebody was saying as well, should you introduce your children to tech? It's not only children who must learn tech. It's all of us. Every single one of us must go learn tech and make it a priority today. Not, well, maybe it'll pass me by. Because if we don't learn tech, the world's going to pass us by and we're going to be left behind.
Wow. Kevin Otenga, loving the show with Papa Mokaya live from Moi University main campus in Eldoret, Kenya. And we have the point from Jess. The aptitude test told me just the story that you told us, and she was to do accounting. I liked accounting, but I didn't think my purpose was to be a CA. I'm happy my parents didn't force me to do that. Colleen, you're an amazing mom to Jess, and you let her do whatever thing she really wanted, and we're happy for you, Jess, for being who you are and what you really want to do. Two-Wheelers Diary, we have I'm really learning.
Okay, so the big thing is this, yes, we allowed Jess to do what she wanted to do, but there were still boundaries. There were still rules, okay? And a lot of parents don't know how to open the door and allow freedom without having rules. And so what happens is they try and friend instead of parent. But you need to be a new parent, not an olden days parent. You need to be an open parent of, let's go learn this together, okay? And to get feedback of saying, oh, I didn't like the way you handled this. Oh, okay, how would you have done it differently? Yeah.
Amazing. Interesting. Janet Machuka, I love the ideas of Jess trying all that out. Sounds so me. I just love trying out new things until I find the next one. Thank you very much, Janet. It's interesting. We would like to see what you're trying next tomorrow, before Wednesday next week.
So the big thing in that is to make sure that you know, oh, I want to be a race car driver. Okay. Have you ever been in a race car? Have you been to a race? Do you know what's involved? Do you only see the wowness on TV, or do you see, oh, the rest of the time's boring or whatever? You know, it's the same as like a lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. Well, do you know that lawyers spend most of their time writing nonsense on pieces of paper or typing it out? They don't all stand in court and like save the world like TV. So immerse yourself with your child in whatever they're wanting to be so that you can learn the most about it. And guys, just Google it. Go look at videos. Go find stories. Go do whatever. You don't have to go trek to a library anymore.
Amazing. You must go to a field that you really are comfortable with, and there's something that you can share out of that. And Jess, I'd love to have a session and share my experiences. You're most welcome, and we are booking you to the next show. Let's hook up after this, Jess. I know Mom will give me the contact so that we can plan on how to execute the next show with you. It will be our pleasure as the alternative voice to have you share more experience to the young people in this platform on how to move forward. So that's booked. Team Alternative Voice, we are here with the next guest, Jess. Yes, will be here with us. Janet Machuka, I'm gonna be a great mom. I told you, Colleen. We have future parents here, aspiring parents. Yes, in future, because of Colleen. Amazing answers that inspire. So Janet, as we wait to see the fruits of the Holy Spirit and everything that is involved, be inspired from the answers that we've received tonight from Colleen. Kevin Amuhaya enjoying the show from Nairobi, Kenya. Esi Njoroge enjoying the show. Two-Wheelers Diaries really enlightened from India. And we have Beda Otieno, who is an upcoming parent. Thank you very much. Be that parent who is giving the children opportunity to learn. And we have Barry, who is on our Periscope there on Twitter, is just waving. Hi, Barry. Thanks for joining us and supporting this course. We have lots of insights from Jess. If we'll just go through them, then we go to the final questions as we bring this discussion to an end. We have Jess reacting to Janet. I think it can be frustrating at times, but I think if you have lots of skills or interests, it can be an advantage. You won't have a silo mentality and can bring different topics all together. Yes, Jess continues to say, nothing you do is ever a mistake. You still learn things in the wrong field and take them with you moving forward. And those are the comments we have from Jess on YouTube. And we have Two-Wheelers Diaries. My parents told me to follow my passion. The choice I made always had support from them. No matter how long it took me, finally, I'm gonna be an engineer. Yes, those people are going to be engineers.
Yay! We'll celebrate
Come back
with you.
to Kenya and get some visa, go to South Africa, continue building good transport systems. continue growing the economy. So thank you very much, the Two-Wheeler Diaries. We have Rebecca Mora. I'm tuned in from Eldoret. I think most of us were dealt a rough hand in making career choices, but I really hope we become better parents. My mom always said, you'll make more wealth in what you love. And Colleen, if this is just but a statement, those people who do whatever thing they love, they end up being the best in the field that they are really into. You wake up in the morning and you're not like, I'm going to that boring job again. And when you do it with all the passion and that which you love, from the statements from Colleen, that's the spirit to even increase your productivity at work. So thank you very much, Rebecca, for being there. Josephine Kieti, inspirational, loving every bit of it.
The big thing is, remember, wealth. Wealth is not only money. Wealth is not working in corporate and wearing high heels and lots of makeup and driving a fast car. Okay? Wealth is not only money and what you look like, an image. Wealth is going to bed every night going like, yay, look at the difference I made. Wow, I've contributed. I have meaning in my life. And so many people now are looking for meaning. And they need to work somewhere that brings meaning, that they have a part in the meaning and they contribute. And that people recognize, Cleophas, this is the difference you made. This is your part in this contribution.
Thank you very much. And we have Bedo Tieno. Can parents inspire rather than, say, interfere with a career choice, like start training a child on a specific career, e.g. technology, especially when the child...
Yes.
Choice when the child gain interest on what the parent does. Yes. If you can get that question.
So if somebody had to ask your child now, what do mommy and daddy do? And they can't answer that. They go, they go to work. I don't know. Okay. So it's about rather include your children in your career of what you do, what do you love about it, what don't you love about it. Allow children to job shadow. So, I mean, certainly like in grade 11 or grade whatever, you can go in South Africa, the school has that you go job shadow. But so many parents have, I don't know where my child can go job shadow. And that's where it's so important and critical to network. But so what do? Oh, hang on. Can I introduce you to so-and-so? She would love to find out what you do and spend time with the person. Go immerse yourself in it. So that's a great one about, yes, include your children in what you do. Include your children in what your friends do too. Glad you joined us, Joshua.
Yes, welcome, Joshua, to the show, though you're late. We have Jess. You can't wait to be part of this discussion, and we are here with you next. Let's plan on how it can go. Adson Onchangwa. Thanks so much, Colleen, for your insights. Very helpful.
Yes.
From
can I just add there?
Just congratulating the Two-Wheeler Diaries. Proud of you, the engineer in the team.
Yes,
and
we're going to celebrate.
Let's celebrate together, and that's the response. Inspired words by Colleen. Colleen, we have 2 minutes into our 1 hour mark, and that should be the end of our discussion after those 2 minutes, the 1 hour mark, as we plan to move. Those are going to prepare for supper, those are going to sleep. And so we like to bring the show to an end. And I would like you, Colleen, this is a personal question. Given a chance, which career can you go for? Can you remain where you are now?
Yes. So I totally can remain where I am now. The big thing is that sometimes you might think, could I have gone directly there? Okay. I am a better life coach because I went via the path that I did. Okay. So your life is not a mistake. None of it is. Gather what you said, exactly as Jason said. Gather what you've learned from each place and take it with you. The rubbish and the junk and the bit that brought you down, leave it behind. Bye-bye. And take what served you into your next career. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very happy being a coach, reaching out to people. Please remember to spell my name with 2 L's and 2 E's in Colleen. and QV, and then you can find me on social media. Yeah.
Amazing.
Please feel free to connect. I collect awesome people.
Yes, there's a way you can follow Colleen. If there's that banner running down there, follow Colleen on our social media platform.
Okay, 2 E's, eh? 2 E's. Yeah.
Yes, that's the name, and that's how you'll get to her. So for more of this engagement, you can continue on our social media platforms. Ask the questions that you need. Colleen will be there across all those platforms, from LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and other platforms that we use as the Alternative Voice, where this content will be shared even on Instagram. Feel free to reach out, ask, get guidance from Colleen. Colleen, from South Africa to Kenya, your last words to the parents who are watching this show tonight as we come to an end.
Be kind to yourself. You have not gone through a course on being a parent, and sometimes we get it horribly wrong. Be open to learn different ways and know that there's no manual that you came with. Yes. Lots of love and hugs from me, and I'll see you on social media.
Thank you very much. And that was our time, The Alternative Voice. I've been your host, Claire Fossolwatch, and thank you very much, Colleen, for being our guest tonight and for sharing the knowledge that you have in this field. And thank you all lovely viewers across the world who joined us just to learn something on our topic for today, which was role of a parent in career choice. It's been an honor having you in this live discussion tonight. Till next time, next Thursday, as we'll be having our show, the entertainment segment, and on Saturday next week. Keep it The Alternative Voice. It's been nice, and may God protect you. Keep safe and have yourself a good night. Bye-bye.